So in this video I would like to talk a little bit about my approach on how to deal with historical facts. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm getting a lot of positive feedback here on YouTube. I'm telling that over and over again to you. You are the best audience that a musician can wish for. And it's true. Sometimes I get questions from people which I can understand why I share my research on that, and sometimes even. But I understand the nature of that. People don't like to be faced with something they don't know or is very different than their own practice. But basically, I believe there is a need in this hip movement to separate the research part from the performance part. As someone was telling to me, you should not explain your recordings, and I answered, I never do. Because if I make a recording on YouTube, that's just a piece of recording. But other than that, I make videos indeed about sharing the behind the scenes of my way of thinking. That's so important that we realize that you look at the facts, so rough information, and then you have at the other end, you have three phases. That's the first phase. At the other hand are we as musicians. But combining those facts with our performances is impossible. Because if you try to do that, imagine this, then you are actually, without knowing, going back to the facts to kind of look for, and I'm not saying you all are doing that, but it's just a mental trap, to look for the things, to prove the things that you are, the way that you are performing in. And that's also the reason why some people are very allergical to that, and understand, but it's because we should realize there is something in between. So all the videos that I make on the performances, on my take, how I come, the masterclasses that I give are in the second phase. They're not explaining the performance. If I play a Beethoven sonata, someone reached out to me who was really a non-believer of the double beat theory. That's another topic, so, but I can ask some question about that, but that's really another topic, and it's good, right? He said, hey, you didn't play according to this double beat interpretation of Chinese metronome, and I said, so what? What I did was in the second phase really look to the contextual situation. The facts are the metronome numbers. That's, for me, if you take Czerny as a source, is that just a fact. It's as strong as a fact that you can get. In fact, the metronome numbers, that's the reason why I'm so enthusiastic about looking at them, and I've always done that, is because you can't think of any more direct information from that early days. I mean, that metronome was sticking on Beethoven's, in this case on Czerny's piano, when he was metronomizing that Opus 14 number 1. There's a particular piece that was discussed. So mostly the same thing. So for me, that's rough data. That's unaltered. That's without any context. You put the metronome, you let it tick, and there you have the speed that Czerny played. And you don't know if Czerny played the same tempo the day after. That's something else. But on that day, you know for sure that Czerny used that tempo. So that's the fascination you have for that. We can't come more close to that. So I put it in the second phase, where I take those facts and take my experience as a player and think about that. Not trying to adjust the facts to my performance. In the second phase, you should be honest with yourself. That's at least what I try to do, knowing that that's impossible. You will always look to the facts from within the third phase, but that second phase is a kind of neutral ground for me. That's what I'm sharing with you on YouTube and elsewhere, starting a podcast soon. And then, when the reflection is over, like for instance also the Beethoven Pathétique videos that I'm making now, revisiting the Grave section, I will revisit the Allegro section as well, because the Pathétique is really complicated. They are just experiment. I take that metronome number by Czerny, I read the quote by Schindler, I will link the video here, and I try it out. And to try that out, I need my experience as a player, because otherwise it's just a machine. I could as well ask Kostas to give me a Sibelius score and let Sibelius play it on the computer. So, and then I bring it out. The reaction from people is surprisingly opposing to that, some even laughing with my performance, which is extremely difficult. I can tell you, if I play it that extremely slow in the grave, that's hard to do. But I want to try that metronome mark in that understanding. And if I somewhere see at the end of that, in the second phase, a light shining, that's your compass. I mean, that's for me, that's different for you. Then I go to the third phase, I make a performance out of that. So that means, for instance, in that Opus 14 number 1 of Beethoven, that if I feel that in quarter note structures, which I think it's the nature of the notation there, then I take a tempo where still I feel the quarter note structure, but I think about the affect, I think about what I want to say. And sometimes, even to my surprise, and I end up a little bit faster than Czerny, but I don't mind at all. What I'm going to do then is just revisit the first phase, which are the facts, and then again take that Opus 14 number 1 in this tank of reflection and say, hey, I have this experience now of playing it 20% faster than I believe Czerny was playing it in. Can I do his number? Is there... Moschler is, of course, a great source to put next to Czerny, because his metronome numbers differ a little bit. They are living in the same time, had the same kind of background. So it's wonderful to check those two marks and then put your own experience against it. That's the reason why I record on YouTube. It's my laboratory. I go back to phase 1, phase 2, and then I make a recording like I did with the partitas for vinyl disc. I will do that with Mozart, with Beethoven. I will do that for all future projects. So that all to say that I have these 3 phases implemented in my way of working, and we should, and the video is again getting too long, we should not forget that there is a second phase. So I'm not explaining my videos with the video, my performances with the videos I'm making. I'm just reflecting with you in phase 2 and then making a performance out of that. And there's my beautiful daughter to end this video. And then I can expect some other people as well. Hey. So we'll see if Evelyn and Anya shows up, and then we make a family video. Thanks for watching. I think this is an important message, and it's one of my belief systems for historical informed practice. We should be neutral to each other in phase 2 and judge each other's performances just based on what we feel when we listen to them. Always go back the cycle 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that's the nature of the hip research, and there is some voice that I recognize. Come on. Is heeft dorst. Okay, you can drink. Hier is dat je mag drinken. So, thanks for watching. If this is your first time, as I said at the beginning, love to have you subscribed. We have regular videos going really deep sometimes. I hope you don't mind this kind of philosophic approach. And by hitting the subscribe button and maybe also the bell icon, then you get notifications by YouTube, and then we will see each other very soon again. Bye.
Dat is weinig.